Welcome back, guys, to the Fast Lane. We're going into the winner's match. It's going to be Dark versus Maru. Boy, these guys have a lot of history together. They've been playing each other since a long time ago back in Pro League, and back then it used to be Dark's stage. He used to always take out Maru. Maru was so dominant against Protoss, but always had trouble against specifically Dark. But the tables have kind of turned here in Legacy of the Void.
That's very true. Life comes at you fast in the Fast Lane, Valdez, and the matchup has definitely turned in Maru's favor. I think in Legacy of the Void, he's 4-2 in series against Dark, but it is a strong rivalry, both at the tippity top of their field and their respective races. Dark with that SSL victory that he won in previous iterations of the tournament. This is the SSL series, so he does have to maintain his berth in SSL Premier. He does want to go for that win again. And here he is facing off against Maru, our map list: Newkirk Precinct, Daybreak, and Abyssal Reef.
Well, we're going to be seeing these maps all night long. Definitely three of the more popular of our list. In fact, we haven't seen any of the other maps just yet. No Overgrowth, no Whirlwind.
I don't know how to cast games that aren't on like Frost and Whirlwind, man.
Only these three. So, guys, we're going to be jumping into game number 1 right now. It's the winner's match of Fast Lane Day number 1, Dark versus Maru on Newkirk Precinct. Fly better fly, Jin Air.
We did do it again, Valdez. All right, big thanks to Jin Air for sponsoring this, and big thanks to the Zerg Overmind for making Dark look like a badass. He just sits in the chair the Overmind plays for him. What a cheater. All right.
Nice.
Blue Terran player is going to be Maru, his opponent, who built robot arms onto his body to better control his character. I guess Protoss players just like control it with their mind powers and things like that. You know, in StarCraft 2, they added macro mechanics for every race, you know, like injects and mules and things like that.
When is the last time you saw a Terran put a supply depot at the bottom of the ramp?
About the same as the time that I saw him also try to wall off with the barracks right next to it. So, wow, yeah, it has been quite a while, Valdez. And, the real hallmark of Dark's play recently has been his ability to just hit that, engage the kill switch, if you want to put it that way, and find the moment of weakness in his opponent's style and then press home for a victory. It's what he did in game number 1 versus, or series for number 1 versus Deer. And against Maru here, you can see him respecting a little bit more the aggressive potential, because we see a lot of Reapers in TVZ.
Yeah, that's kind of the way things went, and Maru especially watched a bunch of Beyond's play, and he's like, hey, that looks strong, let me give it a shot. So I would be expecting the 3-Rex Reaper here. Now there is
a big difference. In fact, if you remember, Maru was one of the first guys in recent history, just in the last couple of months, to really show, wait a second, you can just build a ton of Reapers. That's ton with an E on the end. Like that's a metric ton. It's even bigger than a regular ton.
T-O-N-N-E?
Exactly,
Whoa.
Valdez. And so this is not going to be 1. It's not 2. It's 3. Rax, Reaper coming up. There's already 2 on the way. And, I mean, so the first game that Maru debuted that in, or that Beyond debuted that in, was, I believe, his SSL challenge group. Now, the very next week, Maru tried to debut that exact same style, and you know what it looked like? Hot garbage. He ran his Reapers up against walls. He got them picked off and surrounded by Zerglings. It was a night and day difference against the Reaper master that is Beyond. So often imitated, never replicated. I believe that is the way things, the saying goes.
Perhaps, and he definitely will have to show some better control if he wants this to work out, especially against a player like Dark. And I'm sure Dark, well, he's already scouted it with his Overlord, so he knows what's coming. He's decided to go for the Roach Ravager kind of style to deny these Reapers.
And I should qualify that by saying that Maru's style is still light years ahead of just about anybody else that can execute that. You just need the tippity top of the best micro out there. And now, Dark is very well aware of exactly what's coming out here.
Nice larva, bro.
Yeah. Sorry.
What larva?
It would be a shame if something happened to it. He throws the Reaper mines out there, takes it out. More Reapers on the way, but you can already see the transition on both sides. Dark saying, look, bro, Roach is pretty good against your Reaper style. Maru admitting it, saying, okay, time to back off the Reapers, sit on, I think it's just 3, maybe a 4th one, yeah, they're from behind. So he can still be aggressive, still be annoying, but does have a transition behind that.
Yeah, bunch of Marines coming out here, actually trying to kill this Overlord. Looks like they should be able to. Down it goes.
Yes. You know what I really love my build orders to look like, Valdez? The 3 racks into no production. None of them producing anything. That's I don't know. He's got to have money for building a bunch of buildings that are not going to be able to deal damage to roaches across the map.
Yeah, I think he's just freaking out a little bit, saying, okay, oh, there's roaches coming across the map. He didn't make any drones. I need to kill them.
Now, one of the great things you can do if you do keep Reapers alive later on is that Reapers kind of act like oracles. They're early game harass units, but they do have a later game purpose, and one of them is to deny units parade pushing across the map by just knocking them back over and over again. However, with a longer cooldown on those KDA charges, it's not going to be quite as prevalent as it used to be, and there we go, not watching the Reapers for just a second. We'll lose one of them, and a couple very damaged.
Yeah, definitely pretty painful here for Maru, just desperately trying to keep those units back. Whereas Maru, or rather Dark, has transitioned straight into more and more drones.
Ravagers look so funny when they get knocked up by the vine. They just flail all their legs. Oh,
yeah. It's like when you fall back in a chair and you start flailing, like, oh, I almost fell.
I've done that many times on this stage, by the way. I used to
People just don't see it, but it happens.
Banshee follow-up makes a lot of sense. None of those units produced by Dark shoot up, with the exception of the Biles. But what goes up must come down, and it's pretty hard to make that come down onto the Banshee. So 1 on the way, 2nd behind it, Cloak coming up as well. Neither player killing either one with their openers or the transition, so this will move on to the next phase of the game. Much like these players trying to move on to the next stage of the Fast Lane.
Yeah, for you guys who are joining us late or don't know the format, the 2 players to win tonight in the dual tournament format, the GSL format, will go directly to Premier, whereas the 2 losers will go on to Thursday, where we have Fast Lane Day number 2, where they get a second chance to actually make it straight into Premier. The 2 losing players on Day 2 will get relegated down into Challenge. So pretty unfortunate for those guys. But the guys tonight, they have 2 chances to make it into Premier.
That is very true. 6 players totals over the 2 days of the Fast Lane. 4 go up, 2 go down, and that's the way it works. So we do have double engineering bay on the way. Maru's saying, look, we finished our early shenanigans. Time to head on to the late game. Bouncing up a couple of these queens and taking them out, that will hurt a little bit to lose, but losing that Banshee also a little bit painful at the same time.
Yeah, much like Oracles, you want to keep those units alive, always threatening with them. And he still does have another one, and taking out both those queens will make it very annoying to deal with the 1 Banshee in the sky.
There's
with
1 queen on the map total right now for Dark. I feel like you probably want a few of those, especially if you're dealing with Banshees like this, because right now there's just only that 1 queen that shoots up to deal with the Banshee.
Yeah, he's desperately trying to get out a couple of queens at a time, but killing those 2 was very, very nice. And we have a follow-up here from Maru, where he's just got a bunch of Marines with Stim and 1 on the way. But even just 1 tank in the mix is definitely going to help out if he can protect that with everything else he's got on the map.
Maru doing a lot with a little, keeping these Reapers alive and allowing the Banshee to also do a lot of work, taking out those 2 early queens, and Dark a little bit behind on that count. But now here comes the big push. Maru out across the map. He's got a couple of tanks mixed in with that Bioforce.
And Dark, he has no creep because Maru's killed it so many times. Yeah, so if he can get those tanks just a little bit closer and off creep at the same time, it's going to be very, very powerful.
And Dark's ground army is not non-existent, but the 3 queens produced a lot of an investment just to deal with 1 air unit that now no longer exists. And with the tanks pushing forward, looking to get into a great siege spot, Maru is going to run up and surround Dark's army.
Yeah, those Marines just doing so much damage. And you can see the 2 infestors that Dark did commit to looking for those fungals. There's 1, hits all the Marines.
That is sick. And the tanks behind dealing damage. They could get run all up on. There we go. Get my phrasing right. It's unsieging, but not fast enough. And That'll be Dark holding off Maru's army.
Yeah, Dark, he's done it before where he barely holds with that Infestor tech, and he does it again tonight. And
Maru just hates add-ons. That's the second time this game he's canceled a mass amount of them. Just trying to transition, figure out which way he wants to go. Tech Lab's on the way as he looks to transition to a heavier Marauder force, and Liberators starting to count up.
Yeah, so we're going to have a little bit of time to just sit back and try to, figure out where we're at in this game, because Maru's attack definitely did a lot of damage, some expensive tech that Dark had to go into. Getting those Infestors out. Still no Hive on the way. He's not comfortable enough to go into that just yet. But we'll have the Burrow ready to go here. It's about halfway done. That'll make it definitely harder to catch those Infestors. And he does have, let me check here, he's got 4 now. And they will have enough energy when the next attack comes. So he'll be a lot more prepared this time.
Yeah, that money fungal from Dark when he just had barely enough Infestors. He misses that. Maybe he just loses that base outright. So hit it right when it counted. Great control there. Now with more Infestors moving on, you can probably expect more great things. But Dark has stabilized his 3rd, getting his 4th up, while Maru has once again erected his 3rd base and defensed it as well, but not content to let Dark get any sort of foothold on the map with that creep. He'll push forward, kill off the creep, and cancel that 4th base.
Making his way up now towards the 3rd. The very, very slow push in here. The scan will scout those Infestors. He's got to dodge those fungals.
Oh, not dodging the corrosive bile, but there's one too few to take out that tank, and the second one actually not even hit there. Now here come the Infestors looking for the fungals. Where are they going to go? Are they scouted out? The scan does need to be used to make sure that Maru does have vision. Not the greatest of the early fungals, but Dark still holding off, waiting to hit that critical mass.
He's got a couple more, and you can see Mari's trying to bait out the fungals. Nice corrosive biles there on the one forward Liberator. Dark buying himself a lot of time. Got a Hive about to finish here, and here it comes. Dark pushing on in, gonna take out those 2 forward tanks and big fungals on a lot of those medevacs, but still a bunch of Terran forces remain.
That's right, Valdez. The bio survives the liberation zones, proving too difficult for Dark to push through.
Oh,
but look at that, the huge catch all over that bio ball, and that's going to push Maru a little bit further back.
Yeah, definitely a nice chunk of units taken out that will force Maru to just regroup his entire army, whereas Dark on the defense had everything there.
A lot further back, yeah, all the way back to his 3rd, in fact. Maru getting slapped around a little bit. Great Infestor control here from Dark, just really money fungals, but now he does have to deal with sort of the annoying transition.
The hatchery was low. He's going to focus it.
Is he going to get it in time? And it will fall. The 3rd base picked off by just a 1.5 medevac strike force.
That's really rough because you see that Dark, he's just got himself enough time, bought himself enough time to get the Ultralisk Cavern, but he loses the 2 gas mining at that 3rd base. He needed that.
I mean, Ultras almost just cost only the gas resource, Valdez. It's incredibly important to get that and keep it up, especially since you're committing to chitinous plating. You're getting all of those armor upgrades that make the Ultras so effective. But in the meantime, as Maru limits that production by taking out the ability to mine from those 2 gases, he's teching into everything that counters these Ultras. Lots of Marauders on the ground, a fleet of Liberators in the air, and even Ghost possibly the next round coming up. This is just a great army composition for Maru as he pushes out once again.
Oh boy, Dark, he actually missed a chance there to take out that 1 Liberator. He's fighting against half of Maru's army now, taking some good trades, but I don't know, I worry for this hatchery now as Dark, he just doesn't have his Ultras out, and he doesn't have enough units to defend just yet.
You're going to be too little, too late. The first 2 Ultralisks do pop out. They do not have that chitinous plating, and they're just not in enough numbers. Even though these fungals are good, there's nothing to press in and take the bio out.
Yeah, no follow-up, good position on the Liberators and on the tanks in the back, and Maru beginning to really chip away at this army. Finally, the Ultras do make their way out, but is it enough? No. Maru will take game number 1.
Wow, you can see the technical, prowess, that's the word I was looking for, by Dark, able to hit all of these spells, very cost-effective for Zerg players, but just not having the economy to deal with that. 3rd base getting picked off, 4th base canceled twice. Maru just completely in control, the puppet master of game one.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting to see Dark continuously playing this kind of style against Terran. We saw him use it against Innovation in Premier, and he got shut down hardcore a couple of times in a row. So he tries it out here with the Infestors. It looks like it's working, but then a nice movement by Maru to take out that one base and continuously put on the pressure, especially on Newkirk Precinct. You can do that towards the 4th base of the Zerg.
Well, that is game number one. Game two on the way, and neither player really flustered. A lot of times we've seen players start to crack under the pressure of what looks like an unstoppable army. But here we go, game number two. Dark needs to stay alive, otherwise he will not be making it to Premier this time around.
He's going to have a lot of trouble, so let's jump into game number two on Daybreak right now. Here we go, game number two. Down here in the bottom left, the purple Zerg trying to hold on, but could not. It is Dark.
Well, as the day breaks, the Dark gets less darkerer. His opponent, the Terran player Maru, winning game number one, and of course representing the sponsor of the tournament, Jin Air. Maybe getting a little bit of a green buff. Maybe he's got a green thumb. He's also good at gardening. How that works out. A confusing start, at least for me, watching Maru's build. He's like, let me invest 3 barracks into building Reapers, and then only build 4 or 5.
5, and then
let me build 3 add-ons, and then cancel them all when I get roach pressured, which you should probably figure out's coming. And then we had them like idle for a while as well as he tried to tech up a little bit. So I don't know. That was a little bit strange. He's going to be going for a very similar build here in game number two. We'll see if he commits to the 3rd barracks. I guess you do need that for the complete wall off, but we didn't see the traditional mass Reaper pressure that you usually look for coming out from 3 racks.
I think part of that was definitely Dark's response with the roaches. Maru wanted to get those bunkers out. He wanted to make some Marines to put in the bunkers.
The difference is that, Byun sees more roaches coming out, and he's like, what if I just made more Reapers? And you get up to like 25 Reapers, and all of a sudden the roaches get one shot. Perhaps this is a good unit to make. But it is going to be indeed only those 2 barracks up at the front, with the 3rd in the main.
Yeah, can't really complete the wall on this map. Just going to use a second supply depot there. You can with the supply depot.
No, you're supposed to say you can't complete that wall. But either way, just a supply depot goes there as the first Reaper comes out. Scouting the 2 racks, will he go up onto the high ground and see the 3rd? Looks like that Overlord. Pretty smart. We'll know what to look for and sees 3 barracks on the way.
First Reaper, we'll see actually a pretty nice timing on this speed coming out from Dark.
This is that Blue Oyster Cult Reaper, the one that you're not really supposed to fear that much. It's the 2nd, 3rd, and now 4th Reaper in production that should get a little bit scarier.
Yeah, just doing a little poking damage, no lings just yet. 4 on the way with the 2 queens coming out here, but just 1 queen can actually get bullied a little bit by these 2 Reapers and lose a bunch of health rather.
Queen down below half health. Love the decision there by Dark to avoid getting bounced forward from the KD8 charge and instead deliberately moving forward, but that does mean his Queen is very low. 3 Reapers coming forward, is going to pop the Queen.
The timing of that was so good for Maru because now he can kite against these lings so well, but the timing of the extra Queen is going to be enough to take out one of these Reapers at even a second. So,
and that's the decision making there by Maru that it just makes this Mass Reaper strategy a little bit less effective in his hands. Getting these Reapers boxed up, he's going to lose a 3rd one right here, and even the 2nd, the other 2 are going to take a lot of damage. Dark coming out with a lot of lings. This is a style that Sue's actually done very successfully a lot of times too. You just make a lot of Zerglings, and the Reapers can't run away fast enough. Every Reaper going down for Maru.
Yeah, when you get that early of a ling speed, it's just, it can definitely catch you by surprise, and
very true.
Maru just not understanding that, being a little bit too aggressive there, and this time he is going to continue with the Reaper production.
That's exactly what the way it looked like. That's exactly what it looked like when he tried to sort of imitate Maru's mass Reaper strat. He just made a lot, and then he lost them all, and then he made a lot more, and then he lost those, and he just lost the game after that. So again, another Reaper getting taken out. 3 more in production, but none of them staying alive for very long.
This time he's going to add in some Hellions. And behind that wall, he will be comfortable, but...
That's a Brood War wall off where it totally looks like it's not a
there's
wall.
There's a hole.
There's no hole there, surprisingly enough.
Yeah,
so
but it looks like there's a hole.
Yeah.
They can't really make it on through there, but...
Indeed, you cannot. Hellions, the transition, a lot of stuff that kills Zerglings, not a lot that will kill higher tech to come out here. So last game, Dark transition into Roaches. This time, being a little bit more hesitant to do that. Baneling Nest now on the way. If he kills any Reapers with Banelings, that's how you just know it's time to stop this strat, Maru. Third hatch does complete, so that will be where Maru looks to put the pressure on, but doesn't want to overcommit. Overstay his welcome is now Zergling streaming across the map, going to pressure into maybe the natural. Nope, just scouting there, trying to find out exactly where this army.
Look at the composition of Maru. He's just going straight up Reaper Hellion.
I mean, when your opponent's making nothing but Zerglings, that's a pretty good comp to have. I'm actually just kind of surprised Dark is not transitioning into Roaches like he did previously. Now, there's no armory on the way, so these will not be Hellbats. Or there is an armory that I didn't see completed, and those are Wow.
Yeah, I didn't see the armory either,
wow.
But this is definitely going to hit harder than...
Oh, my God.
Dark's not expecting it either, man. Don't feel too bad.
Wow.
These Hellions doing a lot of damage already.
All right, and there we go. Just a whole lot of stuff that kills Zerglings, but somehow Dark killing the stuff that kills Zerglings with Zerglings. Now, that being said, everything does die, and soon these queens will fall. The Reapers held over. Several of them are going to get taken out there as more Zerglings are produced. I think Dark might just have barely enough to hold on.
Yeah, he's held on, and he used only Ling, Bane, Queen. He lost 3 of his queens, were kind of rough, but Maru with this 3rd CC is going to feel pretty nice about that. I mean, you look at the 40 drones only of Dark, and you say, hey, okay, he's holding on, but he's still on hatchery tech. He's only getting his lair now, and his economy is pretty small.
Dark killing stuff that kills Zerglings with Zerglings. And now, I think every Reaper's going to die here, right? Yeah, he's going to run past everything, even just with 1 Hellion. That's not going to stop enough. This is Zergling Force and Zergling Speed are all over top of everything Maru has out on the map.
Yeah, those Marines definitely need the support of the other units that are a bit faster. Getting them surrounded for just a minute there.
Look at the 28 more Zerglings on the way for Dark. What counters Zerglings, Valdez? It's like, so this is where if you're a new player, you hit your F10 button. You open up the Help tab, and you scroll down under Zerg, you find the Zerg, and you're like, all right, guys, what counters this unit? You look, you see Reapers, Hellions. No, man, sorry, does not counter Dark's Zerglings. He makes more of them, and he's going to force this Terran army into the corner, trying to get Banelings all over top of that. Look at that, the Banelings just rolling over the Reaper force. Takes everything out. Dark steamrolling over Maru.
Yeah, he locked him into a corner, and he finally got some map control here. Now the counterattack at this 3rd base should be very nice for Dark here, effective. But he's got to run him at the 3rd base.
You can't go that way.
Not at the 4th base. I think he's just not expecting him to have that base.
That's not even like a pathing mistake where you click in the wrong spot and it's walled off so you can't go there. He actually just could have run in and killed that base off, or at least forced the lift. But I think he realizes that there's no way to kill it if it lifts off, so probably not worth committing a whole lot of units. Behind this, Dark does complete his 4th base. It's just about to finish up there with a Spire on the way, so already thinking about the next phase of this game.
Yeah, I do like that he is transitioning and that he's trying a different strategy up against Maru here.
That's one way to take out an Overlord, Maru.
And Maru, he still has this pretty strong army. He just needs these infantry upgrades. You could see he's only getting the stim right now. He has no combat shields, so his follow-up is definitely delayed for quite a while.
Attack upgrade won't be complete for a while, but Stimpack will finish right at the same time that Baneling's speed does. Feels like Dark's units are just faster than my units when I build them. Like, there's no way I ever surround any Reaper with Zerglings. Oh my god, look at how he juggled that Widowmine aggro. Another one will not get the greatest of hits, but just so much Zerg there swarming literally over Maru's units.
Trying to get this around here on the Hellbats when they're fighting all alone is very effective. Rolling on in. Good splits here from Maru, but way too much Zerg. Going to eventually surround the front part of that army. Will now back off as there's no more Banelings left over.
Ain't even got no Banelings, and they are all out of there. You'll need to finish morphing more. So he tries to take out this tiny force. The Muta's coming out. Mutas don't fare well against big bio balls, but they've been limited down enough to where that's not even that scary. And with a Zergling run by pressuring this third base, Maru, it's a lot to deal with.
Losing 3 of his supply depots there. Still has enough supply to make whatever he wants. Definitely lost a bit of his army in the attack. And here come the Mutas. It looks like the turrets are just going to finish on time, just barely.
Whoa, if only one of those had finished, if you can deny the second one, then you can really start to get a foothold in there. But once again, Dark saying, hey, what units, what's that good unit I make a lot of, Valdez? Oh wait, it's Zerglings, 18 more on the way. Even getting a Burrow as well as 2-2 about to complete here. Dark is just playing this game on his terms.
Yeah, we have kind of settled down, though, as the Mutas aren't in high enough number to really harass, and Maru was pushed back as Dark defense is 4th, and he does have combat shields now, which is very nice to add on. And this time he is going to redirect those Mutas towards the 3rd of Maru, but another strong attack coming here from the Terran.
Banelings still need to complete their morphs. Muta's in behind, but it's only 9 of them. This is a very strong, well pre-split army here for Maru. Can Dark overwhelm it?
I love the selection here on the Widowmines, just showing everybody where exactly they are. The Banelings, though, rolling on through, and there's not that many Widowmines left over, just one. Good splits from Maru, but not enough. Too much here from Dark, and the Mutas still getting to work here at the 3rd base.
8 SCVs going down, Liberators coming out to try to deal with them. This is where you auto-split your Mutas as they fan out and the splash damage doesn't land on. Didn't they actually just change the splash damage so where it's like a little bit of a smaller area? Or maybe it's a larger area. Okay. How do Liberators work? A lot of times Liberators seem like they have like Cyclone level damage to air units, and it's just very small. And then you clump your units up and take 3 hits and you start to see every health bar deplete. Like, oh, that's actually pretty good. But I don't think that's the counter he's looking for. A sizable number of Mutas as Dark continues to add on. And Maru realizes he's too far behind, can't secure that 3rd base. Dark takes game 2.
Yeah, it might look like an early GG from the outside, but he had taken so much damage, and Dark, with getting his 5th base up and way too much map control on a map like Daybreak, Maru just decides, okay, let's scrap that one, let's go on to the next one. And can't really blame him for that one.
Where Maru picks up his phone and he's like, okay, Google, how to Reaper micro. Got surrounded a couple of times, and I'm not sure whether that's Maru's control or just Dark being too good at getting those speedlings in surrounding positions and taking out Maru, or everything that Maru had coming at him. He had Hellbats, Hellions, even had the leftover Reapers that didn't die earlier on, and Dark was able to just run over everything.
Yeah, I think it was a combination of Dark getting that early speed, just saying, okay, I'm going to shut down the Reapers hardcore, and I don't want to deal with this at all early game, and Maru not really identifying that and sending too many Reapers and committing to that strategy too hard for too long, and then it was looking a little bit even in the mid game, but it was really Maru just trying to do some significant damage to Dark, but he couldn't ever really break in. And even though Dark was down on drones to like 40 at one point, and I was saying, oh, his economy's not good, but he stabilized. Once he stabilized, Dark took total control of that game.
And you really see the best Zerg players know perfectly how to balance drone production versus army units. And a lot of times you can afford to take that economic hit by not building more drones if you just completely stomp the Terran's attempt at aggression, and he was able to push out the Reapers at almost every single turn, taking out a couple of very early ones, and then just never let that count build up to those big beyond numbers of Reapers. And so Maru, had the counter units technically, but it's not what you have, it's how you use it. Valdez, and Maru is just not able to quite use his units effectively enough, getting corralled and cornered in there, and really Dark just really dictating the pace of that game.
Yeah, so it's all tied up at 1. I think one of the players had to go take a bathroom break, but we're going to be jumping into game number 3 shortly here, guys. It is going to be on Abyssal Reef, and Dark, he's undefeated on this map. He's 4-0 from the stats that we have, and he always looks really good in late game situations against both Protoss and Terran. So I definitely like his chances here. I think fighting back, showing that he can go toe-to-toe with Maru's early Reaper control in this matchup definitely bodes well for Dark going into this map.
Such a treat to watch such incredibly strong players at their races, in their matchups, go head-to-head here. And it all comes down to this. One of these players will be going to Premier next season. The other one will have to go to day number 2 of the Fast Lane to try to make it out. So let's find out who will advance. It's Dark versus Maru, game number 3.
Here we go, game number 3 on Abyssal Reef. Down in the bottom right, it is Dark.
And his Terran opponent up in the upper left, as they are wont to be. This is the Terran player, Maru. Maru has only this Fast Lane to focus on, recently eliminated from GSL round 4, and it looks like he's going to go for that same idea, new kind of wall-in structure, depot on the low ground at the gap with barracks to continue the wall off into Reaper pressure.
And Dark should expect this. We'll see if he wants to go for early speed once again, or just play it a little bit more greedy, go into that hatchery. He's going to add the gas here, so it looks like probably the early speed. Down comes the pool.
And there you go. This is just really what we see a lot of Zergs going for. I think really Sue and Dark have been the forerunners in getting that quick Zergling speed, getting a little bit more Zerglings than necessarily you expect at that timing. Terran pushes out with his 2 or 3 racks Reaper, and he expects to be the bully. So you know how that works? I know how that works. It's happened to me a lot when I was growing up. You're all timid there by your locker. You start to type in your combination, and all of a sudden a hand appears right above you because these guys are like all big and huge. But then you call in your little nerds. That's when they surround the big bullies. It's like the Gulliver's Travels in Lilliput. You like knock the bully over, surround him with Zerglings. That's the way I always did it, man.
That seems like a pretty good strat, you know? Take him from behind.
That's also a good strat. Depends on
surround them.
How you want to play that. Dark, very big fan of that strategy, as he has taken Maru from front, sides, and behind many times, surrounding his army that's supposed to be very strong. You come out with 3 racks Reaper, you got 4, 5 Reapers. You're like, all right, let me just micro these. Got KD8 charges for days. No, they have 14-second cooldowns. And so eventually you just get your Zerglings all on top of them, and Dark's been able to take him out many times. So now we get to see if he can do it again. This is not 2, but 3 racks Reaper at the front. And maybe this is the time where we get to see Maru just go for that insane number of Reapers.
Well, he's got the first Reaper coming in here. Wants to not fight the Queen at the front. Takes a better angle, but decides this time he wants to keep everything alive. Immediately a Roach Warren comes down here from Dark.
Has not been scouted. As soon as Maru scouted the Roach Warren in game 1, he immediately transitioned out of that. There's 1 Marine on the way, so this is not going to be just like the most insane number of Reapers. See what number he sticks on before heading on to greener pastures.
Adding that second gas here is Dark. Looks like some counter pressure is on the cards for this Zerg player.
Oh, 3 more Reapers queued up here. So we're not going to stop at that 4 to 5 number that he did in game 2. Going to continue to commit on up. Now 4 in the base, looking to hop into the main. Queen's in position to push them back, almost losing one of those Reapers. So Maru will have to pull back, heal up.
4th barracks on the way, because why not? You Need as many as possible, I suppose, but
better than 3 barracks, Valdez.
He sees no more lings, and I think this should tip him off and say, okay, this is kind of weird. Shouldn't you have lings out on the map if you were going to make them? But it is going to be Roaches making their way across the map, and only more and more Reapers out here on the map here for Dark, or rather Maru.
The Roaches already out there pushing the Reapers back, and there were more and more Reapers committed to. There's 3 more on the way right now, going to be a total count of 11. But with these Ravagers morphing here, I mean, Reapers just don't fare that well against that. Space Shark looking on from on high at the carnage below, but you've got to keep these Roaches together, otherwise the Reapers can pick them off.
The Ravagers with their extra range will make picking at the Reapers a lot easier, but they definitely need some Roaches in the front to help out with the tanking.
Those Roaches turn upside down when they get knocked out.
Pretty sick.
Kind of feels like
backflip.
All right, well, there are 4 Ravagers at the front that'll make pushing down this depot very easy. They get some SCVs extra to repair, but this run-by might actually indicate kind of a trade situation. Maru's going to try to repair and hold on back at home and look to come in from behind.
Yeah, I like what he's doing here. He's picking out those weaker Ravagers, and he is going to take out 2, but he did sacrifice a bunch of his Reapers to do exactly that, but no, 5 Reapers at a time for Maru.
This is like the clubbiest of the club sandwiches. You got one layer, then you put another one on top, then another one comes down on top. You're trying to sandwich your Reapers, then you get sandwiched by Zerglings. You try to move your Reapers back ahead.
Never-ending layers. They've gone too far.
We must go deeper.
Sausage on top of ham, on top of bacon.
What
can I do?
Have we gone too far? I don't know. Reaper's starting to get surrounded. Maru not microing them. They're all standing still as the Ravagers continue to push forward.
I love what he's doing here. So patient is Dark. Just picking at those SCVs, letting his Lings take care of the Reapers on top of the map, or rather out on the map, and just using his Ravagers to pick at the front door of the Terran.
Dark going full aggression. 18 more Zerglings on the way. The Ravager count not really dwindled after losing the initial, couple to those Reapers after getting sandwiched, and now walking up the ramp. The bunker abandoned there for a second, and it will be taken down by these corrosive biles.
Way too many units here for the Zerg now. 12 SCVs have gone down as the worker number is just about even. And all the SCVs from the main coming down here. One last hold for Maru is on the cards.
One last hold from Maru. The SCVs on top of the Ravagers, they'll be pushed back. The corrosive biles even starting to land. There's more and more Zerglings funneling across the map. And those Overlords, much like Maru, kind of have to look on into an overwhelming Zerg force.
Those are the last of the SCVs, the cowards from earlier on who didn't want to join the fight, but now they're forced to.
God. Dark, so good at dealing with this. He's figured it out. How do you hang on? Well, this is the answer. Roaches into Ravagers into never-ending floods of Zerglings. And no matter how many Reapers you have, Maru's just taking too much damage.
I love what he does here. He says, hey, you want to come to my base and try to attack me and put on pressure? No, I'm just going to throw it right back at you.
Yeah, and the Reaper's forced to pull back into the main, really kind of sacking this natural...
Zero SCVs.
Zero SCVs.
The dance. Get out of my game.
There he is. He's going to be dancing all the way to Premier. Congratulations. Dark will advance to SSL Premier Season 2.
Definitely deserved. I mean, he was one of the players in the mid-ranks of Premier for Season 1. He... As I said before, he lost a couple of really rough ZVZs, and you see he has got 2 seasons in a row, and he survived relegations, which are 2 nice achievements to have under his belt as well.
Yeah, the floor is relegation for Dark as he is suspended right above it in the next season of Premier. Very, very well played, and it's great to see sort of a return to form for Dark, really masterfully playing that matchup against one of the best Terran players left out there. And that means that we are going to head on over to a quick little interview to find out what Dark thinks about coming back into Premier. He kind of struggled last season towards the end, so let's hear his thoughts about qualifying for Premier Season 2.
Looks like we're about to jump to that interview any second now. They're both holding the mics.
They lifted the mic to their mouths, and finally, they will speak.
And We will get this translated for you guys. We'll see what they have to say.
Standing by with our promoted player, it's Dark. So our first player to make it back into Premier will be Dark. So you may not have made it into the SSL playoffs, but you are the first player to re-qualify for SSL Premier. How do you feel? And Dark says, you know, I was pretty surprised because I really wasn't impressed with my results, but I'm very happy with how I played here today. So far, Dark has been spending his time just endlessly playing StarCraft 2, practicing for these games. Now, Dark, have you ever watched SSL Challenge, where you would have gone if you had been relegated? And Dark says, you know, every once in a while I'll tune in, but I never really put too much attention into Challenge. Doesn't even have to worry about it. He's going to Premier. So now, Dark, is there anyone that you're like really afraid of facing or nervous about facing in Premier? And he says, you know, I didn't really feel like any one player in particular was a big threat, but he said if he didn't make it out tonight, he felt like it would have been very difficult for him to advance. Now, comparing your performance tonight with your performance in the earlier season of SSL Premier, Dark's saying that he feels like he was pretty nervous when he was playing in his games in Premier, so he tried to relax a lot more when he approached things this time around. He feels like that worked a lot better for him. Like, yes, Dark, yes it did. You advanced again. So now, what did you feel about playing this TVZ against Maru? And just talking about balance overall, Dark's saying, you know, maybe people that say that Zergs are growing stronger and stronger, maybe they just can't catch up with the trends.
Shots fired.
Wow. Getting behind the times. Maybe the typewriter to his computer. So now, how did you react to Maru's triple barracks aggression? Dark's saying, you know, I feel like Maru prepared very well against my usual tendencies, but I get really, really angry when I see triple racks Reaper. So I practiced almost exclusively, specifically for practicing against triple racks Reaper for coming here tonight, because he knew what he was going to face. He said that he practiced with, trying to remember what that Korean player name is, but did have some practice partners preparing for tonight's games. So a little bit more on defending against that 3-racks Reaper pressure. Dark saying, the key for me is that I just get really angry about it. I channel that passion into motivation to win the game. Like, that's not a build order, Dark. You got to tell us how to beat it.
Just do what he did tonight. Worked pretty well.
It's like the Incredible Hulk. He just has to get angry enough. So, Dark, you were able to take out Maru in the regular season. You found more victories here tonight. So, comparing these results, saying that, you know, I feel like there was a lot of a difference here tonight. It was a lot more relaxed. It was a lot more comfortable. I actually almost felt like I was playing from my bedroom at home. And so heading back into Premier, he says he's going to take that same attitude, the same mindset, and just try to keep things comfortable for himself. So now a lot of fans have been wishing for Dark to make it out into Premier. So do you have any words for your fans?
되게 연습 열심히 하고 있으니까요. 뭐 징크스 따윈 뭐 생각 안 하고.
Dark's saying, you know, I'm practicing really, really hard. So I'm not going to pay attention to any curses or jinxes. I am just going to play my best. And there you have it, guys. Dark advancing to the SSL Premier. He's making it out of the fast lane, but he's going into a faster lane.
And the most important thing from that interview is all you guys who get really angry on the ladder, just get even angrier. That seems to be the answer.
You just got to channel it into your build. Well, we're going to take a quick